Welcome back to Bull Sessions here on 680 KFEQ. Here's your hosts, Randy Baker and agronomist Brad Law.
Back again, Brad. Kind of recapping. We've talked about a lot of stuff here, and not a whole lot about farming, but yet something that's just as important as small farm town community living. And you know, you've ranted and raved about selling stuff on Craigslist.
Well, that's something you can do in a small town.
It is. Yeah, you can do that. You can, you know, King City has a little newspaper up there. A lot of places don't, but they've got that Tri-County News that you know, people advertise things in there. You see things you wouldn't see probably in a big city newspaper. No. By no means. We've covered churches.
Yes, we were talking about them ice cream socials and church dinners and events.
We was talking about
and I think you were going to take me out for ice cream after we're done here.
That will probably happen.
Okay, yes. I thought about that during the break.
And I bet I'll get to buy.
Of course.
Non-negotiable,
Non-negotiable.
Now, do you guys write that off in your taxes whenever you go out for ice cream? Do you write that off for a business expense?
You know, Brad has figured a way to write off everything. I tend to try to play a little more fair.
I think meals and entertainment, if you take somebody, you can write half of it off.
Listen at this.
But
I think that's right.
I think that's right. But so you've got to have two to write half of it off.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're discussing business, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't be cheating because we've just been talking
always
about the
consult
churches.
your CPA before you do so.
You can't even spell that, just like IRS.
CPA with an LLC and IRS and LMNOP. But okay, let's go back to these small town communities.
Yes.
You know, maybe your CPA lives in a small town.
Could be.
Mine does too.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, one thing that's gotten really popular:
What?
tractor cruises.
They are. Yeah.
That is cool. Not just to see them, and you see all these old tractors fixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also good for like supporting the little communities, because when those guys get those tractors, well, they usually hire somebody local to paint them up.
Mm-hmm.
They buy tires for them, usually from the local tire guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're buying parts and stuff at the auto parts store to fix things up, or lights and whatnot, and for the local equipment dealer.
Well, it should be.
You know, and that helps stimulate the local economy. That gives some local people jobs. And, you know, I like those cruises because it's neat. And we borrowed Dave's parade tractor. It's an old Super H Farmall. And we pulled that. I drove it I drove a dang red tractor.
Oh, that hurts your feelings.
In the homecoming parade.
You look good on it, though.
Well, you know, it's a mighty fine tractor.
It is.
And it's all fixed up. And to do that parade, and everybody smiles and waves at you, and even though that was homecoming parade, he had that tractor fixed up just for parades.
Yeah, he did.
So that's, you know, something neat. And people are like, oh.
Didn't charge us nothing to use it.
Well, he wanted to borrow a trailer to haul to the next parade. So
it's okay, though.
But the Heart American Tractor Cruise and the other cruises, those are really neat.
Tom Brown was one of the main players in that one. I can't remember when it was, but
I think his was the Show Me. Is it the
Show Me?
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know if he's still involved, but he was a big instigator in getting that going for charity and so forth.
And to learn the history of those old tractors, when you see three or four tractors that are the same model, but the differences in them, and they're all side by side. That's really neat. And then you get the guys rolling down the highway. And
I think everybody likes to see them, really. I mean, you don't have to be from the country. People, just something about old stuff, old farm stuff. Everybody, it strikes a nerve in them, I think.
Well, I think those are just cool. And we talked about, using Dave's tractor as part of our Blast from the Past homecoming parade float. Mm-hmm. And that brings us to high school sports.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
big deal.
High school football and basketball.
You bet.
I mean, that'll get the blood pumping
you
in.
Bet.
I mean, that'll get people excited.
There's nothing like that crisp autumn evening.
That's right.
Watching a high school football game with the hot chocolate. You got to have hot chocolate.
Got to.
Do that. There's just nothing like it,
Exactly. You're right. it's a big thing. I think everybody enjoys that. Even you did, and you didn't play football, but
I usually worked the concession stand. I made popcorn.
you was selling.
No, I was in production. I was in production of producing popcorn.
You are windier.
Now, did the corn come from your plots on your land, Brad?
Well, the corn I have now it comes from my farm, that we're selling for $5 a quarter, 4 for 15.
Segue.
See how I get that plug in there?
There you go. I like it.
See, I couldn't do this until I hung out with Randy for a few years, and then it just rubbed off, and you learn how to plug stuff like that. But no, we did the popcorn in the concession stand, and back when I was doing it, the FFA and FCCLA, which was formerly your FHA, but they changed their name to a lot longer.
Yeah.
They would do that for a fundraiser and split it, and my job was the popcorn machine. Mm-hmm. And I made a lot of popcorn at those football games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And it was just fun. You see people in the night.
They turn out for those games.
And you get a bunch of people there.
You do.
And it's lit up, and it's just
good times.
exciting.
It is.
And even my youngest, when he was in preschool, got started playing t-ball.
Oh, yeah, that's serious business.
And, t-ball, baseball, softball, there's 2 baseball diamonds in King City. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they still have
nice ones. 2
very nice ones, and they still have scheduling conflicts to get everybody time where they can play.
Isn't that good, though?
That is so awesome that you can drive and take your kid to go do those games. Mm-hmm. And what is it, the Lions Club does the concession stand?
I think
Lions or Legion.
Yeah. There's always one of them organizations that
they're doing stuff, and they're selling, pop and candy bars and more of that popcorn for, so they can do good projects with.
Another good thing around is the Legion halls in these small towns. Mm-hmm. Very important in the good works they do. You can't plug enough, I don't think, about the small towns. It's sad to see how so many of them has dwindled away, and it'd be nice, though, to get a resurgence in that again, wouldn't it?
It would. And, I mean, that's one thing. These little events, things for kids, that they can remember back to. And, we used to go and talk how there was all the grocery stores, and this town had 2 or 3, and this one had 2, and... Well, we don't want to dwell on, things that have declined from the past, but one thing that kind of brings that back is, I'm into the local produce.
Oh, yeah.
So we started doing the farmer's market in town, and that is really neat. You get to actually see people, and they respond on something you grow. Because when you grow, trailer loads of corn, and you send it to Bartlett or Bungie or Cargill or somebody.
Sure.
It's probed, it's dumped, and you get a check in the mail.
Yeah.
But when you're growing something, let's say like sweet corn, and those people will say, "Oh my gosh, that was the best we ever had," or "Oh, that was so good," and that was so much better than what we bought at this, bought at the big box store.
Sure.
So that's something that I like, and when you buy something at the farmer's market, your money's going back to the community local. I'm doing that for my children. My son is learning to. Randy, what are you doing?
I am shutting off my phone.
Maybe I should answer it and see who is that? Was that Andrew?
No, it's not Andrew. He will be calling your phone after what you did to him.
Yeah, if you all want Andrew's phone number, his cell phone number, email me at bull@willcross.net, and I will. He really likes those before 6 a.m. phone calls.
Yeah, this is going to get
Randy, have you ever been to a movie theater? Just curious.
Yes, I have.
What do they always make you do when you go into the movie theater, Randy?
Now, Miles, it has been
usually
quite
they have
a while.
to shut the truck off because Randy went to the ones where they drove in, and
I did.
I was going to say the first thing they tell you when you sit down, Randy, is turn your cell phones off.
Turn the cell phone off. Yes, so
he's in trouble here.
I very, very seldom leave the ringer on. It's always vibrating. I keep it in my pocket. I turned it on this morning. I can't remember why. and I forgot, and that's I guess somewhat embarrassing now, but
Cardinal sin, right?
it is. It is. But of course, Brad
And
was
who
quick
do you
to
ac-
point it out.
Who do you accuse of always being on their phone? And mine is being peacefully.
Yeah.
So I guess this does prove that you do have friends.
I
Somebody called you.
that was Aunt Gail.
Okay.
She has to like me. She has no choice.
Okay. But we were talking about
small towns.
Small towns
Yes.
and farmers market. Do you think Aunt Gail's ever been up to the farmers market?
I don't know. She has ate stuff from there before, I know.
Okay. But-
some of the stuff I've swiped from you over the summer, I took home.
But your local community, you know, you're putting that
Yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
the farmers market. There's several of us that have come together and do the market, and we've had everything. We've had sweet corn. I've had sweet corn, popcorn, tomatoes, peppers, that sort of stuff. We've had people
Pumpkins.
with apples, the pumpkins. They've had
Turnips. You was in the turnip business
had turnips,
for a while.
turnips, and you know, they've had all sorts of, you know, sweet potatoes. They've had strawberries. They've had a whole bunch of stuff I don't eat. You know, they have baskets even.
Sure.
They've had fresh baked cookies and bread. So just good stuff
We
that
need
you're
to.
not going to find at the store.
Check out your agronomy skills on vegetables. But we will have to do that because we got to sneak off again. And we'll be right back with more Bull Sessions on 680 KFEQ.